once, I do it again. Add it up, bankroll, euro, peso.
All right, so 100,000 Illinois renters expect to be evicted this summer. I was doing a little work today trying to find out, how many people do we expect to be evicted, because the notice is out there, right? And there is some relief. There's some help out there if people know how to find it. And I don't necessarily know how to guide you to that because each state has their own way of doing this. So if you guys could do me a favor as we're reading over this, if you could go into the comments below, I don't care what state, what country, wherever you live, give me a link to what's to be expected in your state, because I was trying to go to the mainstream media and get like the big picture of all of this. Well, all of the news for that is 2 weeks old. It's not very helpful as of today. So what I was able to find in a pretty shocking number here, that's 100,000 people that potentially could be homeless almost overnight, right? And that's for one state. So please do me a favor. If you know of some news, if you know of a high number of evictions happening in your state, let me get an idea of what's going on with your local news. And maybe I can put a video or a stream together just on this topic, because I have a feeling that it could be worse than even what I expected. I do expect for the government to I don't want to say lend their hand out, because they're not exactly... They're helping you short term, but long term, what is this actually doing to the economy, right? And I'm not necessarily for putting people out on the street either. At the same time, though, I have to say, people should have been more ready for something like this. I know that it's never happened. It's not expected. But that's what you're... Just mentally, I think that's what you're supposed to do. Prepare for the unexpected, right? This is why I stack silver, just in case. It's my just in case method. All right, so as the deadline for the federal and state freeze on evictions at the end of July approaches, right now it's July 16th is when I'm reading this. Housing advocates fear Illinois could still see a flood of evictions, and I've got a feeling this is not the only state. We've got tens of thousands of people who owe back rent to landlords after 16 months of delay. Struggling landlords are determined to start eviction processes. Now, let me just stop here and kind of put my placement here for a moment. I'm not exactly sure that if you are a landlord out there and you just think, okay, time's up, I'm going to evict immediately. I mean, what is that really going to do for you? I get it. There kind of was a hot housing market, but some of that is, as far as buying goes and mortgages being given out, that's dropped a little bit. So let's say that the steam is run out there. Let's say that you've got some pretty decent tenants. They just weren't able to pay for so long. What makes you think that immediately you're going to get new renters in there? Especially, hear me out here. Let's say that 100,000 people do get evicted from one state. Let's not use Illinois, but let's just say in one state, you've got over 100,000 people that get evicted in a matter of the same week. Well, guess what? Now you've just flooded the market with a ton of rentals. Do you really think that you're doing better for yourself at that point? As a landlord, I don't think that... I'm not a landlord. I'm just throwing this out there. I don't think that I would kick someone else out unless they were just tearing my house apart, right? I get it. If you lost your job, and maybe I'm even losing money at that point, but I would rather have a little bit of money come in than no money at all, if you understand what I'm saying here. So I would really like to see how this plays out, because I just don't know if it would be very smart for landlords to just flood the market with a bunch of rentals at this point. That would also hurt the housing market even more, which it's not enough to say, oh, it's over yet. It's all falling apart. We're not there yet, guys. Nowhere near that. It's still a very competitive market. So the executive director of Housing Action Illinois, an advocacy group, says resources are out there for tenants who need help. Her biggest concern is making sure that everyone, regardless of technology and regardless of where they live and how they get their information, can learn about these programs and how to access them. So, I said in the beginning of this video, if you know, or if you're having to go through this process, just say what state you're in. Don't say what county, what street you're on. Don't give your phone number out. Don't do any of that. Just if you have a link that could be helpful for people to get this information from your state, share that out. And if there are large expectations for your state as far as evictions go, please send those to me so I can get a better idea of what's going on a local level. We're not going to get the full story here from the large mainstream media outlets. And that's not totally dissing on them right now. I get it. They're not great at the job that they do. And a lot of times we kind of get skewed numbers here. But I think that if we look at this data on a more local level, if I could just get, let's say, 5 to 6 different states, and you guys can share some good articles, and don't be scared. I mean, you can share multiple articles with me if you wanted to, even if it's not your state. I would like to read it. I'm just trying to, I don't know, organize this a little bit, filter some things out, and see where we are. So tenants have until July 18th, all right, so 2 days from now, to apply to the Illinois Housing Department Authority for emergency rent relief funding available to the people. Now, obviously, even if that's happening, I've got a good feeling that it runs out pretty quickly. Let's see if we even get a number on, all right, here. Can y'all guys see this? Yes, you can. Illinois expects to spend $1.1 billion in rent relief. Holy cow. So that's in rent relief payments to landlords, according to the Associated Press. The question, however, is, will renters fill out the necessary paperwork to enable them to avoid evictions? Good question. And small people, too. I mean, I'm not sure. We've seen a lot of money being funneled to people that did not need it. So the question here, my biggest question is, how many people are going to fill out this paperwork that actually need it? And what amount of these people might already be investors, or I don't know, just big. We've seen the corporate world involved in this kind of stuff now. Could any of this money go to the big guys instead of to the little people that actually need it? That's kind of my question. All right, so in June, a bi-monthly survey of the U.S. Census Bureau that measures the social and economic impact of the coronavirus found that 100,578 people in Illinois expect to face eviction in the next 2 months. Whoa. Guys, this is just another reason, and people have blown through this, actually. You know, even smart people that saved up for worst-case scenario events, right? They're drained. Savings are drained. 401ks have been drained. Retirements, future drained. I can't remember the name of the Instagram account or the girl that did it, but there's a girl from, I believe she was from Australia. And she seems to be on the more artist kind of side of things, which I'm not going to say anything bad about that. If you're a creative person, you do music or vocals or art, whatever it is, that's still, I'm not going to say that it's necessary, but it's something as a society that you do enjoy. And if that's how she puts food on the table, good for her. And nowadays, I praise anybody for being able to think outside of the box and make it successful, do something that you love to do. But she has gone through her savings. It's gone. Retirement savings, gone. Everything is gone, and they're going through lockdown 2.0. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because you're hearing about the Delta variant now. This is becoming a very big deal. It's highly talked about in the news. And this could be uneasy for the stock market. This could be uneasy as to whether you get to keep a job or not. The whole thing, pretty scary. So even what I'm trying to get at here is, even if you were that responsible person and you had let's say that you had savings to pay all your bills for a whole year, it's gone. It's completely wiped out. Lucky enough, there are good jobs out there. There's so many people that don't want to have that good job. But there are good jobs that are out there. And due to those people that want to be lazy right now and maybe not get to work, maybe you have the advantage of moving up If you haven't tried yet, try it. And if you can't move up at the job that you're at and be paid a little bit more, be moved to a higher position with better pay, maybe look around, put feelers out for other jobs that are in your area, the same kind of job, but maybe just better pay or a better position in that field. I would be flexible right now and look around as to what you could do. And I'd also think about, can I keep this job, the new one that I'm looking for? Can I keep this if we go into lockdown 2.0? That's something that we have to think about. And the whole thing is sad. My opinion is you're all adults. I would assume anybody listening to this channel is an adult. You've got a brain, you can think for yourself. If you're scared and you feel the need to stay home, stay home. If you don't really care or you feel as though you have a good enough immune system, go out and work. I just don't know how many people this is truly going to affect. Now, this goes on to say people owe back rent. That's not something that if you get a job tomorrow, you'll be able to necessarily earn enough to pay whatever you owed, during that time when you aren't able to work because of the event that happened. So, administration estimates, Governor J.B. Pritzker's administration, I don't know if I can say his last name right, estimates its efforts to provide emergency rental assistance will wind up helping 120,000 households avoid evictions. Well, that's somewhat decent, but again, the amount of money that goes into that is just scary. Experts like Laginza wonder, however, if more families who have lost jobs and businesses because of the pandemic shutdowns will miss the boat on rental assistance and wind up getting evicted. In the past year, the average rent for a 2-bedroom apartment in Chicago has risen to almost $2,000 a month, a 5.6% increase over the last year. Wow. You know, honestly, I'm surprised it's not higher, but maybe Chicago has gotten so bad that could be a high price for Chicago. I would have thought it would be much more. But then, you know, you also look at the news and you know what's going on in Chicago, and it might not be the most desirable place to live, at least for the majority of Chicago. I've never been. I don't know. I don't want to talk about somewhere that I've never been. And, you know, again, I'm kind of getting some of my news from the mainstream media as far as that goes. But I want to know. I want to know what's going on in your area. If you feel comfortable, let us know in the comments below about some of the struggles that you're seeing, whether it be within your household or households that you know of. And guys, this is just another one of those times where I can say it and hopefully we can go out and do this. If you notice that someone is in a tough position right now, I mean a truly tough position, they're working their ass off and things just aren't going their way at the moment, right? They're not hitting any kind of luck streak right now. Let's try to help these people out, especially if they have young kids. Most of us have been through a time period where it's tough to put food on the table. So if you see that going on with your neighbor, friends, or family, or even if you just catch it at the grocery store, you see that maybe somebody doesn't have enough cash to pay off, you know, the rest of their groceries, maybe pay that difference that they couldn't owe. Again, especially if it looks like they have kids, because I feel like they're the ones getting the worst end of this, right? Right now, they don't really understand what's happening. They don't really understand why mom and dad are so stressed out or why the family's so stressed out. And they don't understand that the amount of debt this country is getting into, they have no idea that that's going to be put on them. When they are growing up, when they are hitting the workforce, all of this debt is being put on them. It's just a sad thing to see. If you did like this video, please be sure to like, share, subscribe. Let me know what you're seeing in the comments below, because right now it doesn't look pretty. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.
If I do it once, I do it again. Add it up, bankroll.